Okay, good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us for our virtual subject evening. This is the final session that we're running. So we did 4 last night and we've done 3 this evening. And this session is looking at our courses in business studies, economics, business BTech, IT and digital games production. So we've got quite a bit to cover for you. My name's Amy Smith and I'm the marketing manager for Lowestoft Sixth Form College. This evening you will be hearing from our tutors that teach each of these subjects, so they'll be able to give you an overview of them. And then at the end we will also be taking your questions. So you'll see at the bottom of your screen there's a Q&A box. You can type any questions you've got in there and feel free to type them in as we go through the presentation, and then when we get to the end we will answer them all at once. So we'll get started straight away, and first of all I'm going to hand over to Richard Stone, who's going to take you through his subjects. Over to you, Richard. Oh, Richard, I'm not sure if you've unmuted.
Muted, you are right. Apologies, everyone. That's the first glitch of the evening. My name's Richard Stone, and I'm the main teacher for Business Studies A-Level and also for Economics A-Level. So first of all, I will talk a little bit about Business Studies. Business Studies A-Level is, like most A-Levels, is assessed at the end through exams predominantly, and covers a wide range of subjects, including marketing, finance, operations management, enterprise. It looks at how businesses are run, both from internal perspective and how decisions are made for major businesses. Basically, we're training you to undertake a wide range of roles within the business sector, but fundamentally to have the skills needed to take on management roles within business when you've gained enough experience. If we can move on, thank you very much. From business, both Business A-Level and BTech, as you'll find out, probably has the widest range of potential career options that feed off it. Just some of them are mentioned here in terms of accountancy and finance, but it's such a wide range of potential careers within that sector itself, in terms of insurance, banking, accountancy itself, finance advisory, and also in terms of marketing, business management generally, operations management, and most of our students end up progressing onto university before going into employment, but a wide range of options are there for you. We can move on, please. Economics looks at the world of business from a slightly different perspective. In Economics A-Level, similarly, you're assessed through exams at the end of the 2 years. But economics looks at business and looks at what influences business. What are the major impacts on the business environment and the economic environment? Looks at it almost from a macro level, like a political level, a global perspective, and looks at all of the influences that affect the business environment and indeed our everyday lives, our political environment as well. If you enjoy debating current affairs, debating quite significant subjects with a wide range of opposing views that are current, that are on the news on a day-to-day basis, then economics may be for you, because it changes on a daily basis as a result of what's going on around us. Can we move on, please? Similarly, you have options of progressing on to business type qualifications and into employment in those areas, but often from a different perspective. So the people behind financial institutions often have economics degrees. So they're the ones looking at risk, looking at the big decisions behind businesses and indeed governments as well. So most of the government decisions are effectively affected by economics professionals. Again, most of our students progress on to university degrees, and quite a lot of them onto very good universities. So that's me done. So we can pass you on to Jenny for BTech, is it?
It is, yes. Thank you very much, Richard. Hi everyone, I'm going to just talk you through a little bit about the BTEC in business. To be honest, a lot of the things I'm going to say are very similar to the things that you've just heard from Richard, because at the end of the day, it's the subject is business, and it's really the approach that's different with BTEC. So whereas with the A-level, you'll be doing lots of exams at the end of the course, with the BTEC, you're assessed through a series of internal assessments, and those could take the form of writing a report on something. They could be a practical activity. For example, at the moment, I have students who are staging and managing their own events. They've also been taking part in practical activities like interview role plays, just to get them used to the whole process of recruitment and selection. So there's a lot more focus on practical skills within the BTEC. There are also some externally assessed units, so they will do an exam in personal and business finance, and that covers a range of different information, from really the basics of finance, as in how to budget, for example, which is incredibly useful to anybody, but also things like how to work out which credit card is offering the best rates, and how to avoid payday loans. So some really useful things for them, hopefully. If we can go on to the next slide, thank you. In terms of progression, BTEC also allows students to go on to university. At the moment, around 95% of UK universities accept BTECs as a qualification, so they attract exactly the same UCAS points as A-levels do. The difference is that in some ways, students who've done a BTEC in business are perhaps more prepared for university than other students, because they've had the opportunity to really delve into the subject in depth, especially if they choose to do a 2 or 3 A-level equivalent in the subject. And they've also been assessed in a range of different ways. So they will have had to write those 10,000 word essays already. In fact, some of the work that students are currently handing in are bigger than the assignments that I did for my final dissertation and things like that at university. So there's a lot of skills that they'll learn through the BTEC, especially those essay writing, critical thinking, being able to analyze and evaluate information. The career prospects, again, very similar to the ones mentioned by Richard. You can literally go and do anything with a business BTEC, simply because most of the places that you're going to try and get work at are businesses, and you'll already have a head start because you'll understand what a business is and how it operates, and that can really be invaluable. That is it from me for now. Thank you for listening. I'm going to hand you on to Richard Allington to tell you all about the BTECs in IT and games design.
Thank you, Jenny. I think Jenny's done a pretty good job of basically bigging up the BTEC and talking about the benefits that come from studying the BTEC on a BTEC program. IT is very similar. We do have units that are business based. For instance, we have Unit 3, which is using social media in business, which looks at the ways that businesses can use social media in order to promote themselves to the general public and sort of promote their image and improve their general image. IT is kind of like a support subject, really. It very much fits in with again, the business courses and things like that. It looks at the underlying technology that really kind of underpins and holds all of these other subjects up. So you might, for instance, be creating a database that's going to, manage employee information and all sorts of other weird and wonderful things. Could be entertainment based, so it could literally be keeping a database of all of the films on Netflix or something like that. So it sort of underpins a lot of what we take for granted in our daily lives. As Jenny said, a lot of this will be internally assessed units. We offer IT in 3 different flavors, if you will. So we have a single qualification, which is 1 A-level equivalent. We offer the double, which is 2, and then an extended diploma, which is worth 3. Now, depending on which variety of IT you actually pick, you'll get a different amount of mandatory units and optional units. Now, for the extended certificate, which is the 1 A-level equivalent, you'll do 1 exam at the end of the year, which kind of takes in, basically is obviously synoptic and looks at everything that you've looked at over the course. And you'll have another internally assessed mandatory unit, which is creating systems to manage information, which is looking at relational databases and creating databases. So you'll be set an external task by Pearson to create a database based on a scenario. Like I said, as these qualifications stack up, so as you go up to the diploma and the extended, the mandatory units increase, and so do the optional units, and the variety of units that you can actually undertake. So depending on how much you do, you get more variety. With the progression. So students that we've had previously have gone on to do computer science, business information systems. We've had them do cybersecurity. They've gone into games development, lots of different university-based courses. We've also had a range of apprenticeships being undertaken by students as well. So we've had a lot of people apply for, and some get the BT apprenticeships that are offered by BT every year. Some of those were regular apprenticeships, and some of them were degree apprenticeships. So there's a lot of opportunities available to you across a lot of different sectors if you choose to do the IT qualification. Okay, thank you. For digital games production, it's a smaller qualification, at least at the moment. So we have only one flavour, one variety, and that's a single option at the moment. Now, we look at some of the fundamental elements of the games industry and creating video games. So it's kind of a 50-50 split. So we offer 50% of the course is tailored towards 2D game creation, and the other 50% is tailored towards the 3D side of things. So you'll be doing units in 3D modeling. So we'll be using a piece of software called Blender to create 3D models, and we'll be looking at the entire pipeline. So from creating the actual model in Blender all the way through to preparing the textures and the materials, and getting the model ready to import into Unreal Engine, creating convex collision holes for collisions, applying physics and getting it all up and running inside of the game engine. For the 3D animation unit, we'll be looking again at all of the tools and techniques required to create digital animations. We'll be looking at basic things initially, such as keyframe animations, and building our way up to fully rigging a character, and in order to apply, in order to basically get them ready for animation as well. 3D environments, sorry, that's fine. Have I run out of time or? Okay, no. With the digital games production, lots of different units. I won't talk about all of them. For this one, no exams. The only externally assessed unit is digital media skills, which basically requires students to make a 2D game unassisted to a brief set by the exam board. So essentially you take all of the skills that you've built through an earlier unit where you make a 2D game, and you're on your own. Essentially you prepare the assets, you assess the brief, and you create a product there and then over the course of about 25 hours. In terms of progression then, we've had students primarily go on to university. I think some crazy statistic like 75% of people in the games industry have a degree. So it's very much where people within the industry actually end up going. So it is geared highly towards sort of looking towards going to degree level. So the skills that we build within the course kind of are helping you to access these courses in order to progress and eventually, hopefully, go into the games industry. We've had many students in the past apply for and get places into universities to study this at a higher level. And those students that have gone on have felt confident and have all the skills behind them in order to tackle that challenge. And I think that's it from me. Yeah.
That's great, lovely, thank you. So yes, now you've heard an overview of each of our courses, it's time for you to ask your questions. So as I said at the start, there's a Q&A box on the screen. Type anything you'd like to ask in there and we will start answering them. We had a few previously sent in, and we've already had some typed in, which is great. So we'll start working through these. So first question, if my son opts to do an extended diploma in digital games production, does that qualify as his minimum level of study for the college, as it's equivalent to 3 A-levels? Richard Allington, I think that's one for you.
So sorry, they wanted to do an extended diploma in games, was that?
Yeah, he's wondering if, so do we offer the extended diploma in digital games? No.
We are at the moment, provided that we get enough interest, we are looking into setting up a diploma for games. So you will be able to do a double weighted 2 A-level equivalent here, but you will have to find something to go alongside it. So you will need to do 3 A-levels. Yes, if you're doing a double or a triple, that would give you all of the entry requirements to get into the courses that you're looking on, provided obviously it's in a relevant area, if that makes sense. So like if you were going to do a triple IT qualification and you applied to a university that wanted 3 A-levels, then that would meet the criteria because you get the right amount of points, UCAS points for it.
Great, thank you. I have just seen that the same person sent a follow-up question to say that I think following your speech that they heard that it was just one. So the question now is, what subjects then might complement if they were to take the digital games production course? What other courses would you suggest go well with it?
It really depends on the way in which you're approaching it and kind of where you want to go within the games industry as well. So if you decide that you would like to go down the more creative route, then not digital graphics, but art and design and those sorts of areas, there are courses that complement the creative elements. But if you're looking at maybe some programming elements or something like that, then the IT and certainly computer science will have those sorts of elements as well. So it really depends, where you want to go within games. There's quite a wide variety of roles that you can go for within the games industry. So really, you just have to kind of assess where you want to go, and really.
Perfect. Okay, lovely. Thank you. A similar question for BTEC Business. What subjects do you recommend that go well alongside BTEC Business?
Okay, I'll jump in there then. Hi, Freya. Thanks for the question. Similar to what Rich has just said, it does depend very much on what you're interested in with business. So if you really like the marketing side of business, then doing something like an A-level in media studies can be really helpful because it gives you an insight into how people perceive things, and that can be really, really helpful. You might also want to do things like sociology because, again, it's looking at the world around us and how people behave, which is incredibly useful for business people as well. If you're more interested in the finance side of things, then maybe something like an A-level in maths could be really helpful, or doing the A-level in economics that Richard Stone has talked through, because that does give you a very different perspective on business. We are at the moment offering a single business and a double business, but we're hoping next year to do the extended diploma in business. So you could conceivably do a 3 A-level equivalent in business if that's what you're passionate about.
Great, lovely. Thank you, Jenny. Another question here for Richard Allington. With digital games production, when you do 3D animation, do you use software like Source Filmmaker? Is that one of the ones that you use, Richard?
No. So when we do the 3D modeling, the 3D animation elements, we do that within the built-in tools within Blender. So there's a complete animation pane and tool set within Blender that allows you to animate 3D scenes, set up cameras, and prepare video ready to export to use in other programs. So we really use the tool set built into Blender to do that.
Great, thank you. Somebody missed the beginning of the session, no problem. So they just wondered if we could again clarify the difference between A-level business and BTech Business. Would you recommend maybe to take 2 A-levels and a BTech Business Studies, as the coursework element may make this easier with no exams? So could somebody just clarify again the differences, and then also answer the question about whether it would work best to do 2 A-levels with BTech Business?
Yeah, I mean, I can clarify that, and Jenny may want to jump in later. But A-level and BTEC Business, there are lots of similarities in terms of the content that is covered. A-level Business goes into a wider range of content. BTEC Business tends to focus on a narrower range, but in more depth. So they have their own benefits there. It's not correct that on the BTEC course you don't have exams. You do have controlled assessments and exams, but also part of the course is assessed through coursework. And I wouldn't say it's necessarily easier, it's just a different way of assessing, because it's actually a very challenging course, which is why it's widely respected by employers and universities around. Now, it comes down to the individual and what they really want out of it. And I would personally look at the actual content within the course and see if there may be a career option that they might be very much interested in, and it may then suit the BTEC. Otherwise, the A-level option has a wide range of possible careers feeding off it as well. And in terms of the recommendation of whether to do 2 A-levels and a BTEC, it depends on what you want to do. And also where you might want to progress on to. Some universities don't like a mix, some don't have a problem. So it depends on whether you have a clear end game or not, and depends on the A-levels you are looking that may complement it or not. What you couldn't do is study A-level business and BTEC business. And there's both too many similarities, and you wouldn't get the benefit out of them. What does go well is one of those businesses with economics, and as Jenny said, maths as well, and various other things like media and IT can complement the business courses. But it just comes down to personal choice and the direction that you may wish to go in. Okay.
Perfect. Lovely. Thank you. Right, another question here. Richard Allenson, I think we may have already recovered this one, but if we can recap again. How many A-levels can you study alongside the digital games course?
Well, next year it will be either 2 or 1, depending on numbers. If we can run the diploma, then that would be double weighted, so you'd be able to take 1 alongside it. If there isn't enough interest and we don't run the double, then the single will have 2 that run alongside of it. So it really depends how much you want to do, provided it's obviously it's running. So, which I'm hopeful it will.
Perfect. So just in terms of people wanted to apply for that now, then what would you suggest they do? Put down what their preference is if they wanted to do it as the diploma?
Certainly, if you're looking to do a lot of games and you want to do a lot of games, getting those numbers earlier will be a good indication as to whether or not we can actually start planning and prepping it and getting it ready. I mean, we already are in the hope that we can run it, but obviously getting the numbers will just give us more of an incentive to obviously run the course as well.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, lovely. Another business question. What else can business lead to other than being a manager? Richard or Jenny, able to give some other career options here?
Oh, that's such a big question. Honestly, I think a business degree or a business course can lead to pretty much anything. I did a business degree at university, having done a business A-level. And the people that I went to university with are doing such a wide range of different things now. I've got people who are colleagues who are running their own businesses. I have people who have decided, like myself, to become teachers. We have people who are working as things like project managers. You don't necessarily have to be a manager, but I think doing the BTEC in business does open your eyes to a lot of different options that you could do, and it can help you maybe to make some of those decisions. We typically send a lot of students through to things like National Health Service apprenticeships. They're really, really popular in this area. We've also got a lot of interest at the moment going through with things like wind farms, and quite a lot going through to the digital industries as well. So digital marketing and things like that are really popular right now. But I think it does give you so many opportunities. You could pretty much do whatever you like. Maybe Richard might want to add something to that.
Yeah, I mean, both business courses offer such a wide range. As I briefly mentioned earlier, just in the area of finance, there are dozens of very different careers within that sector itself. As you say, project management, logistics, retail, marketing, you say digital marketing, traditional marketing, media, all sorts of business options. Every single sector has a business function to it. So when people will talk about the industries in the area, particularly in East Anglia, being engineering and offshore, well, all of those engineering companies have as many people working in the business function side of their business as they do engineers. So the opportunities are so wide ranging. Okay, so I can't sell it enough that it's such a valuable qualification, and also it complements pretty much anything. There is not any CV that can be harmed by having a business qualification on it, because it adds something to whatever vocation you go into, whether it's IT, whether it's into games, whether it's something in, you know, animal care, for example. You may end up in a position where you're operating a veterinary surgeon. Well, business skills are important. So yeah, that's me done. Thank you.
Thank you. I think that's all the questions we've had in this evening. There was just one that was submitted prior to this evening that I just want to ask as well. Richard Allington, this one's for you. Do I need to have any previous animating experience to be able to do the digital games production course?
None at all. No, we teach you everything that you need to know as part of the course. So no, we've had complete beginners come through and leave, quite accomplished. So yeah, not at all. Right. Obviously, any experience that you can get prior to it will obviously, will be good. It will see you right. But no, by no means, if you come in a blank slate, that's fine.
Perfect. Okay. Yeah, that takes us to the end of our questions then. So thanks for joining us this evening. I hope you found it useful. As you'll see on screen now, that is our website. You can apply now to join us in September 2021. So applications are open and you can fill that out on our website. Also on our website is a whole load of information about the courses we've discussed this evening, and also all of the other courses that we offer at the college as well. You'll see on screen an email address, hereTohelp@eastcoast.ac.uk. Anything you think of after this session that you'd like to ask or find out, send an email through to that address, and then we will get it sent out to the tutors that are on this call this evening, so that they can come back and answer any of your queries. We're also on social media, so if you want to have a look at the sixth form social media pages and get a feel for college life before you start with us, then that's a really great way to do that. And the final thing to mention is that we do also have a virtual tour. So sadly, we're not able to welcome you into our building just at the moment. So if you want to have a look around, if you haven't yet been to visit us and you want to see what it's like, go onto our website, click on the virtual tour, and you can start right from the front door, work your way through the building, up all of the floors, and you can look in some of our classrooms and study spaces as well. So it's a really good way to have a look at the college and get a feel for it. So once again, thank you for joining us. We hope you found that useful, and we hope to meet you all in the very near future. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.